Chinese President Xi Jinping made a rare visit to Tibet on Wednesday, marking the 60th anniversary of Beijing's consolidation of its rule over the Himalayan territory, a region long contested between Tibetans and China. According to Chinese state media, Xi arrived in the regional capital Lhasa, where he was greeted by people waving flowers, dressed in traditional attire, and dancing to staged performances of joyful rhythms. Xi used the occasion to urge the creation of what he called a modern socialist Tibet, one that is united, prosperous, civilized, harmonious, and beautiful. To understand the backdrop of this visit, communist forces occupied Tibet in 1951. In 1965, Mao Zedong's government officially established the Tibet Autonomous Region, sparking decades of political repression, which included the demolition of Buddhist monasteries and the imprisonment of monks. In recent years, repression has deepened. There has been large-scale migration of Han Chinese into the high-altitude region, strict restrictions on foreign journalists, and the removal of Tibetan children into boarding schools where they are taught primarily in Mandarin. China also tightly controls religion in Tibet. The Communist Party claims the exclusive right to appoint the next reincarnation of the Dalai Lama, Tibetan Buddhism's highest leader, who recently turned 90 and has lived in exile in India since 1959 after fleeing Chinese rule.
The reincarnation of living Buddhas is a unique way of succession in Tibetan Buddhism, which has lasted for over 700 years and has formed a strict religious ritual and historical custom. The reincarnated children of major living Buddhas such as the Dalai Lama and the Panchen Lama need to be identified through evaluation and approval by the central government. The 14th Dalai Lama was found and approved by the then nationalist government, without the need for a golden urn draw after the death of the 13th Dalai Lama, in strict accordance with religious rituals and historical customs. The Chinese government implements a policy of freedom of religious belief and has issued regulations on religious affairs and the management of the reincarnation of living Buddhas in Tibetan Buddhism, protecting this way of succession in accordance with the law. The reincarnation of the Dalai Lama must adhere to the principle of domestic search, golden urn draw, and approval by the central government, and be handled in accordance with religious rituals, historical customs, and national laws and regulations. You mentioned the Sinicization of religion. I think the Sinicization of religion is not a restriction on religion. The survival and development of any religion needs to be adapted to the social environment and cultural traditions of the country. Tibetan Buddhism was born in China and has Chinese characteristics. Religion itself is a model of Sinicization.
Just a day before Xi's arrival, exiled Tibetans staged protests in India against the visit of China's foreign minister. These protests reflect the continuing international resistance to Beijing's grip over Tibet. China claims Tibet has been part of its territory for centuries, but many Tibetans insist they were largely independent under a Buddhist theocracy until Chinese troops marched in. Xi Jinping's rare visit underscores how Beijing continues to showcase its grip over Tibet, even as critics warn of cultural erasure and growing repression. For more on this and other major global stories, subscribe to the Indian Express channel and stay updated.